Hey, I'm Lilia. I'm in software testing for the past 21 years, and me with the group of the same experienced mentors prepared a free software testing from scratch 100-year textbook for you. And in this video, I would like to list the modules that are included to this textbook. We consider that it is impossible to be a good software test engineer without knowing the IT fundamentals, and that's why we start not from the software testing itself, but from some knowledge that you need to be a good software test engineer. The first module in our textbook is a databases module, ER diagrams and SQL. The next one is Linux. Command line tools, needed commands, user management, permissions, and so on. Networks, different networks layer, and how to localize defects connected with network problems. Then we have REST API module, how to test the REST API and needed tools to test the REST API like Postman and others. Web UI, principle of Web UI, how to test the Web UI, how to use development tools to test the Web UI, what are Web UI objects, and so on. Next module is now in our textbook is very interesting because it is about the troubleshooting. It is not like a software test in itself. It is how to localize defects on different levels of three-tier architecture. But you could use this knowledge not only for three-tier architecture, of course, but for microservices, for example. It is about collecting, merging all the knowledge in one module, all the knowledge about the databases, networks, Linux, Web UI, and backend, and how to troubleshoot all that stuff. Very interesting module, so I recommend it strongly to read it. And after that, you are ready to know something about the software testing itself. But we start from requirements analysis. Because now you know a lot of IT fundamentals and you are able to analyze requirements from this point. You are able not only to analyze requirements about the UI, the buttons, fields, and so on, but you are able to analyze all the requirements, including complicated technical requirements. And we learn the assessment of requirements, analyzing and asking questions to analysts. And then we start learning the test design. Test design is the most important thing in software testing, I think, because without test design, you cannot be sure that your coverage is adequate. And you don't spend spare time to test something not needed, for example. We are learning not only equivalence classes and boundary values. Everybody knows about these methodologies, but some advanced things about the test design. After the test design, you are ready to learn the test documentation. We moved the test documentation to the end of the course because we consider that it is needed to know everything about the IT, everything about the software testing, everything about the test coverage and how to cover the application with test before starting to write defect reports and test cases. Because defect reports and test cases, it is only a documentation, not some, separate stuff. And the last section of our textbook is about methodologies and needed tools for software testing. So software testing methodologies with the agile stuff, of course, and testing tools needed for software testing, like for example Docker or Git. In this module, we have some information about the testing automation. It is the textbook about the manual testing, but you could grow up to automation. You could communicate with automation in your future job. And that's why we included this information to the textbook as well. It is about how to communicate with the test automation team and some information about Gherkin, because this language is needed. This language is widely used for manual test cases creation. As you can see, we have a lot of information in the textbook, and all the information is needed for a software tester to start work. You could learn software testing from scratch using our textbook. It is possible to learn using self-studying education and using our textbook, and I hope that our textbook will be helpful for you in your current testing tasks. This 100-year textbook for the software testing education you can find by clicking the link below the video. No fee, no registration, because you deserve the best education.